UFOs, the Illuminati, the simulation theory. There was a time when just saying these things out loud made people uncomfortable. They were too strange, too far out, too real. But now, they're just trends. They're podcast punchlines, they're Twitter threads with millions of people laughing in the replies. And once something becomes that big, that shared, it stops feeling like something that could be true. It starts feeling like fiction, like a show we're all watching together. That's the paradox. The more people talk about something, the less real it feels, even if it's more real than ever. There's a weird shift that happens when an idea moves from niche to mainstream. It doesn't matter if it's true, it just has to get too big, too fast, and people stop treating it seriously. Part of that is psychological. We're wired to dismiss hype. We're suspicious of anything that feels overexposed. Because in our minds, important truths are usually quiet. They don't scream for attention. They don't go viral. So when something does, we just assume it's entertainment. We stop asking if it's real. We just start reacting to it, liking, reposting it, commenting, until it bleeds into the background noise. The internet doesn't just spread ideas, it flattens them. A video about alien technology ends up next to a guy deepfaking Joe Rogan. A leaked document gets turned into a TikTok trend with ambient music and glitchy text, and suddenly, everything feels like content. It's not that we don't believe, it's that we don't feel the weight of belief anymore. Truth is just another scroll. Even when evidence shows up, even when the government confirms something weird, the reaction is just muted. Because it doesn't feel serious. It feels like something we've already seen 1,000 times. And that's exactly how it gets buried. There's a name for this reaction. The fiction reflex. It's not an official term, but it describes something very real. When an idea becomes popular, our brain files it into the same category as stories. Not because it's false, but because it feels familiar, and processed, and packaged. This is why conspiracy theorists lose power as they grow. It's why simulation theory went from a terrifying thought experiment to something people casually joke about while scrolling Reddit. The more people accept something, the less serious they take it. And once something enters culture, it gets treated like culture, which means we might be ignoring the real signals just because they're wearing the wrong packaging. This isn't just about UFOs or secret groups. It happens in science, it happens in politics, it happens in every domain where new ideas threaten how we think. Climate change used to be controversial. Now, it's everywhere. Commercials, politicians, memes, documentaries, and somehow, people care less. The idea isn't new anymore. It's familiar, and in a weird way, that makes it easier to ignore. Important things fade, not because they're disproven, but because we get tired of hearing about them. And once something feels boring, it feels safe. That's the trap. There's a deep tension here. We like to think we're rational, that we believe or disbelieve based on evidence, but most of the time, we believe based on vibe or how we feel about something. And when something becomes a cultural phenomenon, that feeling changes. It becomes a social currency, and it becomes content. It becomes a joke your friend makes at lunch. That doesn't make it false, it just makes it harder to see clearly. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the things we laugh at now might be real. Some of the ideas we treat like fiction might be facts wrapped in noise. And the more we flatten everything into content, the harder it gets to tell the difference. The real danger isn't what we believe in, it's what we stop believing in just because it went viral. Truth doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it becomes a trend. Thank you to everyone who watched at the very end of this video, and thank you to all the folks who watched the last video as well. It's very encouraging to me to, see comments and likes on the video, so thank you. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next video.